Hey, Melissa.
Hi, Amy. Sorry, I was choking over here.
Golly, what's happening? There's a delay. So we have another very special guest in our special episodes of our Speed Dating with the Dyslexia Duo. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Hi, my name is Brittney Mills, and I am a COUT, but I also am the Executive Director of Reading Services of Arkansas. And Reading Services of Arkansas was founded last summer to expand literacy intervention to children in foster care. We saw the gap that so many children and so many foster children in Arkansas have access to speech, language, have access to occupational therapy, but there is a wide gap in foster children gaining access to high quality literacy intervention. And so our goal is to be the bridge between what DHS does in Arkansas and what the Department of Education does in Arkansas, and bridge the intervention services for children who are in foster care.
So I'm curious, what was the catalyst for you coming up with this? Because I'm always curious about the origin story.
Yeah. So honestly, Reading Services of Arkansas started as a LLC. And when I started my LLC, and I've been a public school educator before I left. And what I saw was I only had the experience of public education. And what happened is when I got out of public education and started servicing children from different demographics, whether it was homeschool, whether it was private school, whether it was micro school, what I found was that foster children were missed consistently. I'm an adoptive mom myself. My son was adopted. I was a foster parent. And so what I consistently saw was that our foster children, there was nobody identifying their reading needs.
Yep.
And our state has done wonderful things in our dyslexia laws. We've had dyslexia laws since 2013, and we've layered on more and more support and application. However, our foster children we haven't identified foster children as a vulnerable group to receive the high quality academic dyslexia therapy of a COUT.
So how do you identify that these foster kids need this help? Where does that come from? The public schools?
Honestly, it's parents contacting us.
Oh, okay.
So we eventually want to get kind of a process and connect with different organizations so that we can have a streamlined process. I mean, ideally, we would love, so children in Arkansas, when they come into care, they're given a PACE evaluation. And the PACE evaluation looks at wonderful things such as medical, dental, vision, speech language, occupational therapy. However, the assessment that they give for reading is not thorough enough. I mean, it just barely skims the surface. So what we hope is that Reading Services Arkansas can come when the PACE evaluation is given. We can come and give what looks more like a level 2 dyslexia screener, or what they have, there's different names for it, but a diagnostic, because the research, what we have found is that because of a child is coming into care is under trauma, so they can't get a comprehensive evaluation under IEP, under IDA, right? So we are working on, hey, how do we get with the child to get the services, to first of all assess to know what this child needs, because maybe they don't need take flight. Maybe they just have been so transiency and they're jumping
Right.
from one
Right.
care for another
Right.
care. So, yeah, we're really excited. We're just getting started. We're just adding board members, but we're asking questions about how we can connect and bring the conversation forward.
So I have a question because I've worked with kids in foster care before, but when I was in public ed, right? So I'd get these kids, they'd have an identification, and some of these kids bounce around, like you said. So how is your agency going to keep up and track, or do you have a plan for something like that?
So ideally, like this is what we're working towards, is ideally kind of like our court system has CASAs, court-appointed special advocates. So what we're kind of working to is that child will be connected to a CALT or a structured language specialist that would follow them.
Okay.
Because so our work we're doing is in Central Arkansas, specifically Little Rock, and so we have a lot of children in foster care in Pulaski County. That's in Little Rock.
Sure.
And so ideally we could get a CALT or a structured literacy specialist to stay connected.
Okay,
with
that's
that
what
foster
I was
child.
hoping, because
Yeah.
you would get them and they'd be there for like 6 weeks, 8 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like 2 steps forward, 3 steps backwards, you know, in their progress as
Mm-hmm.
you go through. So that's brilliant that you have that one person following them
Mm-hmm.
no matter where they are.
Okay,
Yeah.
so talk to me about funding that a little bit. I have had a CASA appointed person call me recently and asked for, how much I would charge per hour. And
Right.
of course, I want to do it for free. And I said, but I don't have room in my schedule to do it for free. I would have to pay somebody to do it, so I have to still charge something. With that said, how would your agency be able to support that financially?
So that's where we are starting with getting the funding. We're looking for foundations that want to support the access of getting the child the reading intervention that they need. So it's just creating those conversations, making foundations aware, making state legislators aware at the gap, because I don't think anyone in Arkansas is intentionally saying, hey, listen, we're just going to miss foster kids.
Right.
That's not the intent.
Right.
They just haven't had the experience with the foster child, with the foster family, with DHS to know, oh, this is a missing gap. Like in foster care training in Arkansas, the foster parents aren't trained with any information around, hey, what could I do if my foster child can't read? Like,
Right.
what conversations do I need to have in the school? Things like that. So it really starts if we start the conversations around that reading and structured literacy is the missing piece, then I believe the funding will come.
I think this is a brilliant idea, and I'm so glad you approached us today about this. I really do feel like this is a huge missing piece. Like I said, when I was in public ed, I'd see these foster kids come through, and I'm like, okay, they start to make progress, and then they're gone again. I think this is brilliant, and I hope more states start to adopt your model.
Yeah. Well, we're just getting started, and it certainly is not unique to Arkansas.
Okay.
And I really hope that we start to make grounds and move this forward to see that foster children are vulnerable. Nobody chooses their parents. Everybody just kind of shows up to the world.
Yeah.
Right.
And they don't get in foster care because of any of their choices.
Right. And
And
it's a lot of
so-
times scary things that have happened to them.
Yeah. And so, as citizens who want people to pay taxes, as citizens who want people to contribute, foster children are a part of our community and thereby need to be able to read.
Oh,
I
love
agree.
it.
I agree completely.
Love it.
Wonderful to have you on
Did
and
you
share
tell
that.
where they can contact you? I can't remember if we talked about that.
Yeah. So our website is readingservicesofarkansas.com. And on Instagram, we're Reading Services of Arkansas. And Facebook, we're Reading Services of Arkansas.
Okay, well, that's
So-
pretty simple to remember.
And it's all spelled out.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.